Hey, I'm here at ACI North America with Cody Shulman from Xovis, and I want to hear what you're doing that's new. Because last time I talked to you, you guys had all kinds of new stuff going on. What's going on at Xovis?
Yeah, lots of new stuff always. We've had an interesting, couple months or years, I guess, now with COVID and what that's meant for the industry and also the other lines of business that Xovis is in outside of airports. And I think one of the most exciting things is for us trying to kind of fill in the gaps and marry some of those things up that we've kind of had, again, outside of airports and kind of bring those into airports. So the one that comes to mind there is our retail side of things. So we've always had outside of airports a big presence in the live occupancy in a shopping mall or a library, a public place, a museum, and actually now bringing that analytic back into the airport to see, with concessions, how many people are coming through a space, are they going into that space, what's the occupancy in that store or that restaurant, is it full, and then kind of taking that data, overlaying with POS so that you have a real fixture on what's happening, and then making more thoughtful decisions about staffing, leasing, you name it, with that in mind.
So tell airports who aren't familiar with Xovis, what's your elevator pitch? What do you guys
Elevator
do?
pitch is simple. It's anything that involves people flow, people movement, or queuing. There are lots of places like that in an airport: security,
Lots.
check-in, immigration, restrooms.
Nobody likes waiting in line and not knowing where the end is, right?
Correct. A long line does not mean a long wait. That's often confusing, especially when you can't see it or it's far away. We're seeing great passenger growth. It's very disproportionate towards leisure travelers who are less confident, less comfortable navigating that space. So we've seen a lot of exciting opportunity there with making that experience safer and more comfortable.
And what have you guys been doing in the last 2 years? I mean, have you been ready? Because you've been getting ready for now the new surge. Now travel's open back up again. What's happening?
Yeah, we didn't really have a slowdown per se, in the sense that we were able to quickly teach our sensors to do more and different things. So we have hardware in the ceiling, like kind of flush mounted, a sensor that's hidden away, and it's taking those measurements of people. But we taught it to measure social distancing success. We taught it to detect if someone's wearing a face mask. So that kind of kept things busy for us and fresh. And now going forward with queues, right? We're in this, let's say, semi-post-COVID world, but we still want to be comfortable and feel safe and not be overly crowded in any environment unnecessarily. We want to have control over our experience, I think, more than ever, and sources of information for passengers like ours offer that.
That makes a lot of sense. You're helping airports with data and analysis and figuring out what people need to know to make it smoother.
Smoother, more comfortable, and then to bring it back where it always goes is, if I move back through a queue quicker, more relaxed, less stressed, I'm going to spend more money once I get to the other side.
And that's the key. Airports want people to spend money, and so they want them to have a good travel experience all the way through, because then they're more likely to spend at the retail shops.
110%.
Sounds like a good place to go. So what do you want airports to know lately? What are you seeing?
We're seeing, I'd say different, I'm not going to say use cases, but problems brought to us, which honestly makes things fun for us. Sometimes it's a bottleneck, sometimes it's a blind spot. And so, maybe you don't have long queues, but your operation still doesn't really know what's going on downstairs at check-in. It's unstructured, you have a bunch of carriers, it's kind of their domain, but also it's kind of yours. And having like a visual eyes and ears of what's going on has been very exciting for airports of all sizes. We've really seen a push from those small to medium airports saying, I don't have the staff to be on the floor there always. I don't have the ability to do that, but with this kind of one and done thing, I'm there. Whether it's live with an alert, if something's not going as planned, or some kind of retrospective report, that's going to change the game for them.
Now, of course, there's other companies out there who say they do similar things as Xovis. Where does Xovis stand apart?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
I have a lot of places I can go with that, but I'll say this in a couple ways. One, we make our own sensors and software together. It's a little bit like your iPhone going really smoothly from one end to the other. We have complete control over that. Supply chain and sourcing has been a more interesting topic than ever, and it's something that we control. These sensors are also designed for airports. That is where we got our start 13 years ago, and so that means privacy, that means durability, that means all these other things that are sort of not as complicated or needy outside of other spaces is where we stand apart. The other thing I'd come back to is it's not a camera, right? So there are lots of camera-oriented things out there, or even existing already in an airport with sensitive security information and things like that. And we have no visuals. That means that we can put sensors in restrooms, at entrances. We can put them over CBP agents, because again, there's just no issue in terms of the actual visual. It's just a bubble and a dot behind me that we're identifying it's a person or it's not.
Makes a lot of sense. Thanks for giving us the update, Cody.
Kristen, pleasure as always. Thanks.